All right. Good morning, everyone. Aloha mai kako. Aloha. I have chicken skin right now. It's so exciting to see everyone here. This has been the culmination of so much planning and excitement. So, welcome, welcome, welcome this morning to the UH Cancer Center and to the very first, the inaugural event of the brand new Cancer Care Community. Can I have a round of applause? It's so exciting. If you are just joining us, my name is Esme Infante, and I am the Director of Communications here at the UH Cancer Center. I will be serving as your MC today for this very first gathering of the Cancer Care Community. Today, we have planned for you what we hope you will find as an educational, supportive, inclusive kind of a event for you, where you hopefully, whether you're a cancer patient, thriver, survivor, caregiver, provider, whatever role that you play, that you would come away not only feeling that you are better informed and but also supported and also heard. We will have opportunities today to talk story. Okay, so I hope that you are excited about that. We are definitely excited about it. I'm also thrilled to report that for this day, we have about 120 people connected with this event today, just for the inauguration. And about 90 people are on campus today for this. So give yourselves a hand for making it out this morning. Yay! And we have a bunch of people online. Hey, our online people, we haven't forgotten you. Hello, hello. Hi, Laurie and Karen, and I see you waving. Hello, Wayne. I see your beautiful faces, Mavis, all of you. Aloha. I see Virginia. Hi, Virginia. Hello, guys. Can everyone wave to them one more time? Because I'm sure they can see you. Hey, hey. And so thank you so much for joining us. And so we're glad to have such enthusiastic response for the cancer care community. Right now, to start us off right, it is my honor and privilege now to introduce and start things with a very special performance by an extremely special hula halau. Coming up right now is Na Wahine Hula Akala under the direction of Kumuhula Te Moana Makolo. And I just want to tell you why this halau is very special. These ladies are members of a group of cancer survivors who took part in a pilot study some years ago here at the UH Cancer Center to determine health benefits of post-treatment exercise through hula. And so even after the pilot study was done, the ladies developed such a strong bond with each other and with, where's Kumu? Oh, Kumu is over here, in the corner over here. Please wave. Kumu Te Moana Makolo is over here. Yes, please give her a round of applause, folks. And they perform at many UH Cancer Center events as well as in the community. They asked me to have it said that they're very grateful and appreciate that the Cancer Center allows them to continue to practice here and to perform here. But I have to say that we are really grateful for them. So they're very inspiring to us and very special to us. So thank you so much for coming out. Along with their incredible musician, this is Charles Kukahimai Kalani Tilton over here. Where is he? Oh, Chuck, please wave. Everyone,
Hi,
please give him a
aloha.
round of applause. And he will be providing the music as well as giving us our oli this morning. So, folks, please give a warm round of applause and welcome to the stage on this side. You can turn your attention this way. This is Na Wahine Hula Akala.
I'd like to open up with a welcoming oli. Oh, now, da hala me kale hua. E halale hua no ia nakano. O ka uno ia no ine e li ane ho i o iti mai no o ko iti puno me ke aloha. Aloha e, aloha e, aloha e.
Aloha and good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. You know, in 2014, when I was asked to assist in the trial program, and first of all, I'd like to say I'm not a kumu. My aunts were the kumu. My aunts were Leilani Alama and Punani Alama. And Leilani Alama was the one that was to have done the program. But unfortunately, she passed away just months before the program got started. And then I was asked to assist with the program. And I'm so thankful because although I had already had breast cancer and had survived that, in 2017, I came down with stage 4 bone cancer. And again, thank goodness I have the Cancer Center and Hula, because here I am still here 7 years later. According to my oncologist, I made history. But anyway, I'm thankful again to the Cancer Center for continuing to allow us to practice here at the Cancer Center. And anytime any of you want to have our Wahine Hula Akala, and that simply means the Pink Ladies of Hula. So to open, we're going to do a Hapahauli tune. You know, back in the 30s, 40s, and early 50s, there were lots of Hollywood movies with film stars that were in the movies, like Jane Russell and all of those gals back then. And they had a little style where when they danced, they kind of had a little oomph. And so for our opening number, we're going to do a number entitled Show Me How to Do the Hula with That Oomph. Show me how.
Show me how to do the hula like they do in Honolulu. When they smile a pretty smile through Mahundika, ooh, wiki wiki. Show me how to do the hula like they do in Honolulu. When they dance, they use their hands to Mahundika, ooh, wiki wiki. Round the island you must go. You take it all so sweet and slow. Then you make like the tree. As the carved in a tropic breeze, now you've learned to do the hula like they do in Honolulu. When they me and me ho, to Mahonika, ooh, wiki wiki. Round the island you must go. You take it all so sweet and slow. Then you make like the tree. As the carved in the tropical breeze, now you've learned to do the hula like they do in Honolulu. Where they me and me ho. To Mahonika, ooh, wiki wiki. My honika, ooh, wiki wiki.
Mahalo, mahalo nui. And you know, I see standing back in the corner. Lei, would you come forward, please? Lei is also one who helps with the Cancer Center, and she's been doing this for many years. She was also one of the ladies that was part of the trial program. The second program that we had many more, because the first program was just breast cancer survivors. The second program was all kinds of cancer, and we had so many more people that wanted to join. So we had to split the group in half and then half it again. So it ended up being like 3 sessions instead of 2 sessions. And Lei was part of our session at Palimomi. Aloha mai, Lei. Thank you for being here with us. For our next song, we do a Hawaiian medley, which is quite popular. I'm sure many of you have heard it, because usually whenever you're at a party or going somewhere to listen to entertainment, this song will most probably be sung or danced. They're going to do for us now Papalina Lahi Lahi, telling you all about those rosy cheeks.
Aloha ya wela ko Papalina lahi lahi. Iga ho o pulmau iala. Hune o ke kai.
Yes, the ladies say,
One
one with the rosy cheeks. You're touched by the mist spray and the sea spray.
E aha no hoki ka ula o ka ala wiki ana mai. Ua I ke ihono o e la he hu o e ua ko ia.
And these ladies say,
E aha no
why do you
hoki
keep
ka
teasing me?
ula o
For you
ala
have
wiki
seen to
ana
it
mai. Ua
that this
I ke
flower
ihono o
is
e la
yours.
he hu o e ua ko ia. Vi hemolele I ala mai ke poa ka ihu. E ahana o hoki ka hula o te pula leila leana ha cha cha.
Yes, here am I,
Vi hemolele
me,
I ala mai
the top of
ke
my head
poa
to the tip of my
ka
toes.
ihu. E
So
ahana o
stop
hoki ka
teasing me,
hula
for I
te
am
pula
already
leila
yours.
leana mai. Ai na mai ka puana la ko papalina lahi lahi. Ai no ka puana la he aloha bao ya oe. Ai na mai ka puana la ko papalina lahi lahi. Ai no ka puana la he aloha bao ya oe.
Hello. At this time, I think we have Tutu coming to visit us. Ui, pehe oi, Tutu. Where is she? Did Tutu get lost? Oh, bueno, yeah. Tutu. Pehe. You know, while we're waiting for Tutu, why don't I do a song? Okay. Okay.
Lovely hula hand, breaking in motion. Mighty like the gold of the ocean, lovely hula hand, Toli manani. Lovely hula hand, fingertips that say aloha. The swirling winds or the pali of the hula hand, holy manani. I can feel the soft caresses of your hula hands, your lovely hula hand. Every little move expresses, so I'll understand all the tender meaning of your hula hand. Fingertips that say aloha to me again. I love you, lovely hula hand, holy manani. I can feel the soft caresses of your lovely hands, your lovely hula hand. Every little move expresses, so I'll understand all the tender meaning of your hula hand. Fingertips that say aloha. Say to me again, I love you, love the hula hand, Doli manani. Say to me again, I love you, love the hula hand, Doli manani.
And Tutu has arrived. So here we go with Tutu A.
Oh, he's on the afternoon. There goes my tutu, eh? He was trucking on down to town on the Alanui Kapakahi Way. Oh, he's on the afternoon. There goes my tutu, eh? She was trucking on down to town on the Alanui Kapakahi Way. He's singing an old melody of Annabahueliu. Tutu will show you how to do the hula me only. She's singing an old melody of Annabahueliu. Tutu will show you how to do that hula me only. Tutu Inui Kava, that's a drink of the South Sea Island way. Oh, now to do it, and now she's doing that hula rum boogie. Tutu Inui Kava, that's a drink of the South Sea Island way. Whoa, now to it, and now she's doing the hula rum boogie. Tutu is going home now to her holly by the Kapakahi way. Ida ia mai ka puana, that's the melee of my tutu. Tutu is going home now to her holly by that Kapakahi way. Ida ia mai ka puana, that's the melee of my tutu.
Mahalo, Tutu. Mahalo. And mahalo to you, ladies and gentlemen. You know, back in 1937, a Hawaiian room opened in what was called the Hotel Lexington in New York City. That was the most profitable Polynesian supper club in the nation. It operated from 1937 until 1966. And the only reason it closed was one of the dancers from the room. It didn't happen there in New York City, but somewhere down south. She was dancing and her hula skirt caught fire. And she was burned from her neck down. And amazingly, she survived and had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of operations. And she came back home in the 80s, I believe it was, and became a school teacher and taught until the Department of Education said, "You got to retire, you're too old." She was in her 80s. But anyway, the room made so much money that many of the profitable other restaurants were opened by this corporation. The only one that's still there today is the one that's the top of Rockefeller Center, the Rainbow Room. But the first hula dancer that performed there, it was just one person. And a song was written for her. And I use that always as my closing number in honor of her. She was a very popular dancer back in the day. And in many of the old Hawaiian songbooks, you'll see her picture. Her name is Mamo Holt. It's actually Mamo, but the Malihini couldn't pronounce Mamo, so she became Mamo. So she legally changed her name to Mamo. But anyway, the song was written by a Caucasian musician, and it was given to a very well-known Caucasian singer. And he, in turn, made millions of dollars with this song. Who might know who that singer was? Very, very popular gentleman. No, way before. We're going back to the 30s. Yes. Yes. How did you know that? Bing Crosby, she said, and that's who it was. He made millions of dollars with this song and some other Hawaiian songs as well. So I've always used this in closing my program. So, ladies and gentlemen, we leave you with To You, Sweetheart, Aloha.
I think we also need to point out, I don't know if you did, but Auntie Tay here is also one of those dancers that danced at the Hotel Lexington in the 60s. To you, sweetheart, aloha. Aloha from the bottom of our heart. Keep that smile on your lips. Brush those tears from your eyes. Aloha. Then it's time for goodbye to you, sweetheart. Aloha. In dreams, I'll be with you, dears, tonight. And I pray for that day when we all will meet again. Until then, sweetheart, aloha. Sweetheart, aloha. In dreams, I'll be with you, dear, tonight. And I pray for that day when we all will meet again. Until then, sweetheart, aloha. Until then, sweetheart, aloha.
Huge round of applause, please, for Na Wahine Hula Akala under the direction of Temoana Makolo. Ladies, thank you so much. And Chuck, thank you so much. Oh, amazing. One more round of applause, please. Thank you. Okay, so now we're all full of all these good feelings, thanks to the wonderful performance of our wonderful hula halau. So now we want to do a quick warm up for you folks to help the beginnings, building the beginning of our cancer care community, the operative word community, right? We want to build our connections here. One reason that we want to build connection within our community, all of UH is moving toward becoming a native Hawaiian place of learning. One of the key principles in that is something called pilina, which means connection. So that's very important for our cancer center. But also we want all of you to begin to start thinking about the cancer care community as being among friends, okay? So here is your warm up, okay, if you will. Please, first of all, take a moment and if you haven't already, introduce yourselves to the people to your right and left. Take 10 seconds. Go, please go ahead. If you haven't already, say hello. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so the next thing I'd like you to do, I would ask that you just take 10 or 15 seconds for yourself and reflect on the question I'm about to ask you. What is the person, place, or thing or even a cause or mission that gives you the motivation to wake up every day and get things done? What is the person, place, thing, cause, mission, whatever it is? What is it that gets you to wake up in the morning and go? Okay. The last person that you spoke with, please go ahead and share that with that person. I invite you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for participating. Hopefully, as you are making your way through our event today, you feel like you made some new friends already. Okay. So we're going to get underway with our program right now. And folks, it is very much my pleasure to introduce our very first presenter for this morning. Dr. Naoto T. Ueno. Ueno is my boss. He is the director of the University of Hawaii Cancer Center, in addition to being a cancer researcher and clinician. UH was very lucky, I should tell you, to snag him after he spent more than 30 years at MD Anderson in Texas, where he was executive director of the Inflammatory Breast Cancer Research Program. Dr. Ueno has served as director of our UH Cancer Center since December 2022. And I should tell you, as an aside, that the National Cancer Institute officials have told me that among the nation's now 73 NCI designated cancer centers, the UH Cancer Center is the only one led by a two-time cancer survivor. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Dr. Ueno.
All right, good morning and aloha. All right, so it's Saturday and you're here, so I'm very much excited and truly appreciate all of you coming here. I appreciate Susan Hirano and Peter Hirano who gave us the idea and making this happen. I appreciate all the volunteers and the staff really making this happening, but our goal is to make sure that this continues, right? And if you think about it, we have about 20,000 people in Hawaii who have cancer at this moment. And we also need to think about how many people this one person who has cancer will know many people, including friends or colleagues. And, and if you calculate that, probably there is a chance that you know somebody who have cancer. Now, whether they tell you that you're suffering from cancer or not suffering, you can't see it. That's one of the difficult part, that many cancer, it's not on the surface. There's a physical stress, but there's a lot of emotional stress. There's a social interaction stress. And I'm just going to be talking initially as a physician, but as a physician, this part is something that we do care, but it's not something that we could always provide the answer. The answer is sometimes from your own, or it could be non-medical, right? And the big question is, how do we tackle this? And this is what this new activity is going to really provide a chance for the patient caregiver to make a difference. So I'm just going to focus on myself as a survivor or patient. And so there are a lot of different things. So believe it or not, a person who knows cancer and a person who knows a disease that I have even treated myself, I have also even developed the treatment that I received for myself. Now, so that was kind of an interesting part that my attending physician was sometimes have a fearful eye looking at me because I could ask crazy questions, or I could really grill them because the way the data is presented could be wrong. But the funny part is, as a patient, I didn't want to ask questions sometimes. Okay, so having a knowledge does not mean that I'm going to be a great patient. I must admit that I'm not the greatest patient. My wife is over there, and she always tell me I'm a terrible patient. And I'll give you the example one. I checked the internet, and then it's like I say this and this, and then, even crazy stuff. And maybe I should do this because I may survive by doing this crazy stuff. And she says, "Oh, that's crazy, actually." And then if I don't want to ask question, I make her to go to the doctor to answer to or contact the doctor to um, ask that question. So that's because sometimes I'm not empowering myself and I just don't have that enough skill, right? And the other is by having this all this treatment. So I received one of the most intensive treatment in cancer called stem cell transplant. And I end up having a diagnosis called sarcopenia. The sarcopenia, so I have two things. I have sarcopenia and osteoporosis, severe osteoporosis. Okay. So don't touch me because I could break my bone. But sarcopenia is that you don't have the muscle. You lose the muscle mass through the treatment. I look reasonable and I build up over the course. So you go to physical therapy, right? And you think the physical therapy is going to fix it or make it to the next level. The answer is absolutely that is not true. I learned that lesson that if you have to exercise to a certain extent. Now, I hate to exercise. So my wife has to drag me. I know Jamie, my colleague is laughing, but I just don't like to exercise. So I have to drag my wife with me to exercise together. So there are many different, so I'm just sharing some of the, difficulty I went through and I'm still going through. And you must have your own story, your difficulty. I don't know what that is, but by sharing the story or learning together, it makes a difference. So this program is about not just one time today, but we want to make it continuously so that you will learn. But what you learn, you will spread the knowledge. You will tell about University of Hawaii Cancer Center. You'll tell about our healthcare system, that there are people who care about you and we're here to help. So mahalo nui loa again for taking your time to visiting us today, and let's have a good time. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ueno. It is very much my pleasure now to bring up our next presenter, and that is, as mentioned earlier, Ms. Susan Hirano. And Susan is very special to us here at the UH Cancer Center. I want to tell you a little bit about her background. In October 2021, she was diagnosed with stage 4 invasive ductal metastatic breast cancer. And her response to that diagnosis, to this rare aggressive form of cancer, has been extraordinary. She took control of her health by diving into the research, earning an advocate certification in the metabolic approach to cancer, and she became passionate about supporting cancer patients like herself and like you. And now Susan is serving as a UH Cancer Center Hope Ambassador. We're very, very proud and excited to have her. She's also a volunteer patient advocate, and probably most significantly for the folks who are here today, she is the founder of our cancer care community. So folks, please give a warm, actually a huge round of applause, please, for Susan Hirano.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for that. It's an honor to be here. I'm excited to share with you sort of how this journey came along, but I have some thank yous to take care of first, which Dr. Ueno, thank you for bringing me into the UHCC family. This is my purpose, and I couldn't be happier helping all of you, or trying to help all of you. In addition to that, Tawny Sablin and I had this idea. Well, I pitched it to her about a year ago to do this cancer care community, and she welcomed me with open arms. And between her and Michelle Hashimoto, we've been working on this with there's a whole host of characters that are here somewhere that we have been meeting and bringing this to life for you for the last year. So thank you so much for coming and showing up. And I hope you understand too that you're set up in these tables so that you can share with each other, as Esme had said before. We want this to be your family. We want this to be your new home. We want this to be a place where you feel safe sharing, whether or not we have support groups or continue these types of sessions. We want you to recognize people when you come back so that you feel welcome and supported and can share your stories. So with that, let's get going. So do I need a clicker? Okay. So this is my family. And I see so many of my friends, shockingly, here in the audience, and my church family is here. And I know some of them are also online. So thank all where they are. Thank them for being here as well. But my son Trevor, my husband Peter is here today. And these are just a couple of shots of me in treatment and us doing some fun family things. But as Esme had said, I was diagnosed 3.5 years ago with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. I was one of those people who thought I did everything right. I went to the doctor every year. I got my mammograms. If I had to have something special done, I followed the doctor's instructions. I did my OB visits. I did self-exams every month. And when they finally found mine, it had spread to crazy parts of my body and became a rare cancer based on where it spread. So it's been very difficult to treat. So it's one of those things like Dr. Bueno said, you don't see it on your face. You don't necessarily recognize that somebody has cancer. You think, people say, you look great. But I feel like crap. But you look great. Well, guess what? Thanks, but I'm struggling. So unless you're in these shoes, you don't truly know what it's like. And it's hard to understand. But through my journey and looking for support, what I found was people complaining. And just, oh, I have lymphedema, or, oh, I have this that won't heal. And that is not me. And hopefully that is not you. I needed more than that. I'm a positive person. These are my vision boards. If you want to come take a look, I'm a believer in positive self-talk. When you open my bathroom mirror, I have positive messages there that I see every day that are from some of my friends, they're from me, but it reminds me why I'm here. I have a son, he reminds me of my purpose and why I'm here. My husband and my friends would say, oh, I know somebody who has cancer and they want to talk to you and, maybe they can help you. And then I learned that they have DCIS or stage 0 or 1 cancer. Well, as a stage 4 metastatic person, so this is what the cancer care community stands for. The community, which, let's talk about that first, because these are literally my notes that I wrote to Tawny and said, this is what I think this group looks like. I specifically chose CARE and made it an acronym because it meant something. We want group support. If you're online, use your chat function to get to know each other. Tell folks who you are. We're doing that here in the room, or have and will. So do that online too. Be a part of it. My vision is also to find somebody like you who's going through the same thing. So maybe they're farther along, maybe they're not, but they can help you navigate and know what's coming next and understand how many times you're going to have a PET scan, how many times you're going to have to get blood drawn, and what all that looks like going forward. We want to help you with referral resources. In your folder, we've already provided you with a list. I think it's on the left-hand side. Excuse me while I get a drink. We are not here to provide everything for you, but we do want to be your go-to resource. So we may not be able to do it, but we can say, oh, guess what? We have the Rehab Center. We have American Cancer Society. We have other resources we can send you to where you can get answers to the questions that you have. We want you to have emotional support for your family, for you, our caregivers who are, like my husband, accompany me to every appointment, every scan, everything I do. Takes time away from his job, has recently actually retired so that he could be there to care for me. Because as you all know, when you're going through this cancering process, it can be a full-time job. So I'm lucky enough that he was able to do that. But we want to help you also support your family, your caregivers, because there are unsung heroes in all of this. But you also need support. And then we also want to continue these sessions here in the community. Erin's going to talk to you a little bit later. We already have the next one planned. We have a date for you. We have a topic for you, and we hope that you'll be excited about it and can come back. So then awareness as our cancer, this is to educate you, provide you with information about awareness. The Cancer Center is already doing a lot of that. Talk to you about nutrition. Does it matter what you eat? Yeah, it does. How many of your oncologists said to you, eat whatever you want? It does, just keep the weight on. The chemo is going to take the weight off. You need to keep the weight on. Guess what? Sugar is not your friend. Whether they tell you that or not, my oncologist told me that. I said, what about sugar? I heard like that's your biggest enemy. Oh, no, just eat what you want. Yeah. So this is where we say to you, we want to help you learn. We want you to take charge of your journey as you go through this journey. Research these things. Go online. There are a lot of different resources. You can do intermittent fasting that will help prevent cancer cells from growing. You can look into alternative treatments, the metabolic approach to cancer, which is a whole thing. You can look that up too. Any alternative treatments you want to do, acupuncture, anything holistic. Do you like Eastern medicine versus Western medicine? Do you want to do both? Do you feel like you need a combination and not just, all your eggs in one basket? We want to help you learn about these things, and we want you to go out and look for them so you can teach yourself that first of all, that they exist and whether or not they're right for you. They may not be right for you, and that's okay. But we want you to empower yourself and learn about these things so you know what's out there. Exercise is a big deal. We may not like it, but just walking even, it's a big deal to keep your muscles strong and build keep your protein levels up and eat. And then we also want to help you with advanced planning. That seems to be a big one, whether or not it's for your family, whether it's financial planning. I know this is not easy depending on the insurance that you have or don't have. This is not a cheap disease to have. So if you need help financially, we want to call us so that we can help you find a resource that you can go to. Then, of course, we have research. Again, I can't stress this enough, and maybe it's because that was sort of my passion when I was first diagnosed. I really wanted to understand what my cancer was, and because it was so rare, I didn't necessarily want to challenge my doctor, but I wanted to understand what my doctor was saying to me. I wanted to understand why they were recommending the treatments that they were so that it was comfortable for me and I wasn't being dictated to, if you will. I don't know if that's a little harsh of a word, but I wanted to be able to advocate for myself and say to my doctor, well, what about this? And what I read about that. And, and Dr. Google is great, but also not your friend. So you do want to ask your doctor questions to understand whether or not those things that you're researching are actually true or not. So, but at the same time, you want to have a conversation with your doctor, not a confrontation. We'll talk more about that later too. And then also clinical trials. Your doctors are so busy. So many of them may not know there are clinical trials available. When you go to a mainland hospital, when you go to an academic hospital and they pull up your record, all of the clinical trials show up that are eligible, that you are personally eligible for based on your diagnosis. That doesn't happen here. You have to be the one to go out there and find them. You can go to NCI, that's probably in your resource material, and there are other apps out there. There are different types of apps you can plug in your diagnosis that will just email you when there's a clinical trial available, and you can ask your doctor about it. You may not be eligible, but at least if you want to investigate it, you can have a conversation with them about whether or not it's applicable and whether or not you're willing to take the sacrifice. There's a big sacrifice in a clinical trial as well, whether or not you want to go down that path. Okay, so emotional well-being, this is a big one. We all know this. It's not just your body, it's your mind. And how many of us have come across people who are diagnosed and they just have a bad attitude about it? You can tell that they've already given up. And with a very short time, unfortunately, they have left us. But those, it seems, who have a very positive attitude, who are willing to put the time in and focus on themselves and feel things, they seem to be around a little bit longer. It's your mental stability and positivity make a huge difference. If you're struggling with that, meditation is huge. If you can do it for 3 minutes a day. Some of us had that monkey mind going on and we're like, no, we can't sit there and listen to the thoughts scrambling around in our head. It makes us crazy. But if you do it a little bit by a little bit every day, you'll find that in that stillness, you'll hear yourself. You'll hear your intuition talking to you and helping you answer these big, tough questions that you have, and maybe even directing you on what your next steps might be. You might think that's hoo-hoo or woo-woo, but I'm telling you, it works. So stay positive. Do your self-affirmations. Find joy every day. That doesn't necessarily mean happiness. It just means find something you're grateful for every day. Maybe write it down. Remind yourself that this wonderful thing happened so that when you're having a down day, you can go back to a journal and read it and go, yeah, that was a great day. Why don't I do that again? I went to the beach with my dog. It was fabulous. But the next day I didn't feel like doing it. Why not? And we get in ruts. So do those things that bring you joy. So this is a big one. Each and every one of you matter. And for those women in the room with me, we put everybody else first, right? We take care of everybody else before we take care of ourselves. When you're going through a cancering process, it's time for you to take care of you. So say no to what you don't want to do. Put yourself first and take care of yourself, and don't feel guilty about it, because that's what's going to make you happy. That is part of your joy that you're going to find in every day too. Okay, so looking at the future, these are the types of things that we want to provide to you. Education, these talk story groups, support groups. We're going to ask you a little bit later what you're looking for, if it's massage or painting therapy or what have you. But do you want support groups? Do you want a support group with someone like you? Do you want a support group with all different types of cancers? Or does it make more sense for you to have a smaller, more intimate group? So when you do your survey and fill out your ideas later when we're doing the session. Just go crazy. Give us all your ideas. We want to consider anything and everything to support you moving forward. Okay, so the bulk of our story today is patient empowerment, like Dr. Bueno said. This is advocacy. So instead of deferring to the experts, and we're not saying that they're wrong, we're just saying, think about it. Again, educate yourself, ask questions. We typically accept what is said. We were brought up in this culture, especially on this island, to not talk back. Respect our elders, respect those who know more than we do, the experts. We're not oncologists. Clearly they know way more than we do, but that doesn't mean you can't ask questions. So don't keep it to yourself. If you're talking with your doctor and you know in your heart that something doesn't sit right, don't leave it on the table and go home and go, darn it, I wish I would have asked that question. Do it then, get an answer, and see how you feel about it. So these are different ways of empowering yourself. Know what your rights and responsibilities are. In your folder on the left-hand side is a rights and responsibilities that comes off the website from Queens and HPH, which is also Kapiolani, Straub, most of the hospitals, that will help you see that what you know in your heart is actually a right and a responsibility that you have. Non-discrimination is one. Respect and care from your physician is another. You have the right to not do treatment. If your doctor gives you options and you don't want to do any of it, it's your right to say no. Did you know that? You don't have to do what they say. But you also have to have the guts to say, I don't want to do it. And that can be a difficult conversation. You have the responsibility to ask questions. You can select your own doctor. You can get an interpreter. There's all different things that you have rights and responsibilities, and you can read those when you get home. If you're under HMSA, the biggest thing is you are entitled to a second opinion at no cost. And how many of us go, well, I believe what my doctor said. I trust what my doctor said. But what if I want to go to the mainland? Or what if I even want to just talk to somebody else here on the island to confirm that? You have the right to do that. And if you go to your oncologist and say, I want to get another opinion, and they say, then I don't ever want to see you again, that is not the oncologist for you. You go find somebody else who's willing to have a conversation with you about it. Again, this all goes back to, these are conversations, not confrontations, right? So always keep that in the back of your mind. We're not here to have a confrontation with our doctor. We just want to be able to have a conversation. Research your cancer type. PubMed is a wonderful resource. PubMed.gov, it's in your folder. You can look at different treatments. You can look at different drugs. If you like off-label drugs, if you like supplements, you can look at all those things. I would, however, caution you, if you want to go that route, also consult with a physician. You don't want to just start loading yourself with supplements and off-label drugs because you think they're going to work. You have to be wary of other drug interactions that your doctor is prescribing to you that you are willing to take, and you are agreeing with your physician that you are going to use that as part of your treatment. Just think about what you want. Think long, meditate on it. Think long and hard about what you want and have those tough conversations with your family, with your doctor. And we all know it's probably harder to talk to our family sometimes about what we want than our doctor. because when you're going through this cancering process, everybody has an opinion about what you do. So this is where you really have to stay steadfast and know in your heart what's right for you and ask your family to support you. And that's a tough ask sometimes, especially if you're someone who says chemo's not for me and your family says, well, you have to do the chemo. You're going to die if you don't have the chemo. But that's not what you want. We want to be able to help you have those conversations through these ongoing support groups by talking story and sharing our own experiences with those types of things so that you can get more comfortable having those conversations. Big thing again, release your stress, exercise, meditate, find things that give you joy. We've talked already about talking goals with your doctor and second opinion. But again, live your life. Stay positive. Don't stop doing the things that you love just because you have cancer. If you don't feel good, that's one thing. But when you feel good, get out there and do your life. That's the biggest thing I think we forget to do because we get focused on what our treatment is today, what doctor appointment do we have. But there's more things to life than those. And that's what we have to focus on. One thing that I do is I visualize cancer leaving my body. I do this sometimes during meditation, and I'll just sometimes close my eyes, and I have this weird thing where I visualize my cancer cells dying and turning into chrysalises, and then they turn into butterflies, and I ask them to release and go out into the world. That's just what I do. But fine. And I have this horrible large tumor on my liver as well. So when I'm in treatment, I visualize it getting smaller because again, your brain is a powerful tool. It can make huge differences in your life. So remember that. And I think that brings us to our break. You guys are probably tired of sitting here. It's been a long morning already. So you're welcome to come up and ask me questions. You're welcome to look at my vision boards. Thank you again for coming.
And actually, folks, Susan, stay there. Folks, I think we can take 1 or 2 questions if anybody has any questions for Susan. If you don't mind, we'll just do this really quick.
Sure.
Just 1 or 2.
Hello, my name is Dr. Tan Nguyen. I don't have a question, but I just want to use this opportunity to share with everyone that I have a free 8-week online course teaching mindfulness, which we mentioned earlier. So anyone's is welcome to join. It's free to register and free to take the course, completely free. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a www.mindfulnesscourse.org. If you're interested, you can write it down and search. Thank you.
Thank you. And can we put that in the chat?
Thank you. Anyone
so
else
much.
with any questions or comments? Okay.
You're dying to get out of here.
Did you have a, yes? Oh, absolutely.
I want to thank you for your sharing and your profound courage, humanity, and sharing your joy and your hope. And I'm here not as a cancer survivor or cancer patient, but I'm here as an advocate for proton beam therapy, which is a targeted type of radiation to treat cancer, which is not available at this time in Hawaii. It was approved in 1988 by the FDA for cancer treatment, including for tumors on liver. So it is a consideration. Dr. Ueno has been a supporter to at least give me an audience to share that information. My heart is with you in your work, and you'll be in my prayers.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Folks, a round of applause one more time, please, for Susan Hirano, the founder of our cancer care community. And I also want to take a moment to run over here and Tani, oh golly, I'm going to go this way. I also want to give a lay to Tani because Tani Sablan also has played an instrumental role in founding this program. A round of applause, please, for Tani Sablan. She is handles our development here at the UH Cancer Center. Folks, right now we're just going to take a really quick break. All right, folks, it is 10:25. So if I can ask you all to please take your seats. And while you are all kind of getting regrouped back to your seats, I just would like to mention a few things. I know some people are still making their way in, so I just wanted to make a few additional comments, addenda, if you will, to Susan's remarks earlier. First of all, I wanted to, thank you. Folks, if I can ask you to please have a seat. Thank you. So the first thing I wanted to tell you all, for those of you who were timely in sitting down, Susan mentioned earlier that there is our next event already scheduled. You can mark it on your calendar. We have reserved this place for Saturday, July 5th. Saturday, July 5th. So please do mark it on your calendar. We'll send out more information as it gets closer, but please save that date. We would love to have you again. And then the other additions I wanted to let you know is that Susan was talking about how you can get online to find out where there are clinical trials nationwide. I'm very excited to let you folks know that we are developing a special app just for our clinical trials right here at the UH Cancer Center. So we're going to be announcing that soon. It's in its final stages before we release it. So we're getting ready with that. That is exciting. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that we have, not a lot of people know. Hey, folks. Hey, folks, can I have you join us, please? Ladies and gentlemen, can I have you join us, please? Anyway, for those of you who are listening, I also wanted to let you know, not everyone knows that the UH Cancer Center has a second opinion clinic. A second opinion clinic. So, and I think Dr. Fukui will talk about this a little bit, but if you have questions or you want to get another doctor's opinion on your course of treatment or your diagnosis, we offer that as well. Not everybody knows that, but that is something that we do. All right, folks, we're going to get started. If you would please take your seats. All right, we're running a little bit behind, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Folks, it is my privilege to introduce our third and final presenter. This is Dr. Jamie Fukui here behind me, and she carries so many pivotal roles here in Hawaii's cancer community here at the UH Cancer Center. She is associate professor and researcher, as well as co-faculty director for community outreach and engagement. At Kapiolani Medical Center for Women and Children, she is a breast medical oncologist. And Dr. Fukui is also a National Cancer Institute Breast Cancer Steering Committee member. Dr. Fukui's interests are in breast cancer clinical and translational research, developing clinical trial protocols, providing cancer care to the residents of Hawaii. We're so lucky to have her. Folks, please give a warm round of applause for Dr. Jamie Fukui.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. It is such a pleasure and honor to be here, and I hope to share with you some things that a lot of the conversations I have with patients, things that come up. So my talk is going to be mainly focused on some key questions I think that are important for you to ask your provider. And this doesn't necessarily mean just the oncologist. It could be your surgeon. It could also be the nurse practitioner, anyone who's part of the team. And so I'm going to talk about teams as well, about treatments and what's the goal of treatment and what are the roles of treatment, kind of go over some expectations and then goals. So first of all, one question that comes up a lot when I first see someone in clinic is, how did this happen? You know, I think that's a really important question to ask. Unfortunately, as Dr. Oweno mentioned, cancer is quite common in general, and certain kinds of cancers actually do afflict our populations more than others. So it's important to understand, is this something that I need to consider for my family to be aware of as well? Is this something where I need genetic testing for to better understand? Or is this something maybe that has happened in my life that could have cause this type of cancer? So these are important things to ask, but also how can I improve my health? You know, how can I feel empowered to prevent this from happening in the future? Are there certain things like we talked about exercise, food, having a healthy weight? And all of these are important questions to ask. The first time you meet a provider or a team, you know, there's just so many different people that you're going to meet. You're going to meet not only doctors and other clinicians, but social workers, navigators. You're going to meet technicians. And so you need to understand who are your team members, who's going to be the core group of people, because cancer is very complex, who are going to be making decisions about the surgery, maybe about the radiation that would be offered, maybe about the type of treatments, whether that's chemotherapy or targeted treatments. And then also who's going to help you through that process, through the journey. Nurses, maybe a dietitian, and as Susan had mentioned before, research. So I like to call it the dream team. You have your base team who's going to go over the whole treatment plan with you, but then there can be a whole added team, which is a research team that reviews not only the treatments that you've been given, but also maybe if there's something else that we can add on and support you during the cancer journey. So all of these different people weigh in how we can personalize the treatment and the care that someone receives. And every hospital system actually has this type of team group. You might not know, and we discuss cases on a weekly basis. So we get together as colleagues and review this person's case, and we review how the imaging looked, what the actual biopsy looks like under a microscope. We learn about the genetics of the tumor. We learn about the person and the social situation that they're in. So you might have already had a full review by this group of people, and you can always ask, has my case been presented at a multidisciplinary tumor board? Or I'd be interested to know what other doctors within the team think. And that's an important thing because, as you know, cancer can be very complex and have a lot of different things that feeds into it. Another important aspect is treatment. And this really has to do with the type of cancer that we're dealing with, but also the stage. So what is the role of each type of treatment? Surgery has one role. Maybe it is to get rid of it, but maybe it's also to make sure that someone feels more comfortable. So understanding what's the role of having to undergo a surgery is important. Also chemotherapy. What's the role of the chemotherapy? Is it to prevent it from coming back? Is it to treat disease that is active right now? And can we go into a little bit of the statistics, a little bit of the data? So the way I usually like to describe it when I talk with my patients, if they have these questions, I say, if you had a twin and they decided not to do the chemotherapy, they would have a certain percentage risk of having the cancer come back, or they would have a certain percentage risk of not having the cancer come back, depending on the scenario. So I think it's important to understand that you can ask these types of questions. They can get very detailed. We might not know the answers, but at least it's having us look into some of the details that are very specific to what's going on for that individual person. It's not just one size fits all. It's very personalized for each individual. Targeted treatments, so that could be anything from different kinds of medicines or immunotherapy, or maybe sometimes the cancer can have a mutation and we have a very specific drug against that target. And so that's also something that you want to ask about. Radiation is something that is often recommended, but it can be, again, for different reasons. Is it to prevent it from coming back in that area? Is it to prevent it from coming back in general? And sometimes it's just to help with symptoms like pain. So all of these are important questions to ask as to the role of each treatment. Of course, commonly what comes up when we discuss treatment is, what can I expect? And often we have our advanced practice providers, so nurse practitioners and other specialists, who actually review this with someone for a full hour sometimes. We call it a therapy teaching session. So they come back usually with their caregiver and go over all of these details. But this is getting a little bit more detailed into what are the different side effects I might experience. How soon do you think I'll experience these side effects? Are there different supports I can be taking either from food? Either do I need to worry about maybe having extra fluids? Should I maybe make sure that I continue exercising, or should I not exercise during this time? And so all of these are important questions during this. So this is a schematic that kind of shows different kinds of treatments can affect the body in different ways. Sometimes it can happen immediately, sometimes it can be longer term. And so these questions might come up for you, and it's important to ask usually at the chemotherapy teaching session or at the treatment teaching session. The other thing that I think is really important when we talk about treatments are, what are your goals? What are the treatment goals? Is this something that we're hoping to get rid of completely and never see this again? Is this something that we need to take in order to control the disease and to manage symptoms? And this is important as well, because I think understanding what the risks are, someone can make that educated decision whether or not they want to spend 6 months undergoing a treatment, or if they want to decide not to do it or do partial amounts. And all of those are important questions, I think, going forward as well. Finally, and probably most important, not only for treatment goals, but is the person's goals. And I know it's tough to ask the first time around. You're just meeting someone. You're just trying to understand if it's a connection that you can have, and if you feel supported by your team. But I think it's always important to mention what your goals are. You know, I have a wedding that I really want to make sure I have my hair for, or I really want to make sure I feel good on this day. We can plan around that. These are really important things for us to know early on, so that if there are major events that you want to participate in, or travel, or you have school things going on, this is really helpful for us to be able to figure out what's the best treatment options and the timing of it for you. And of course, as Susan mentioned, what are my other options? So I appreciate the standard options. This is what we would normally do according to our guidelines. But I'm interested in learning, is there something else I can take? Is there something else that can be supportive for me? Is there a research study or clinical trial that I might be eligible for? This is really important to ask, because you might not know. The doctor might not know, and the team might not know. And there are resources available to review this. But it's important to look to see, because there might be something available that might help you during the journey. And so for some people that have come up, you know, they're afraid of some of the side effects from some of the treatments, so nausea, or maybe neuropathy, which is numbness or tingling in the hands or feet. And we have studies to actually prevent that and maybe help someone through it if they do have that. So some of these trials and studies aren't just for treatment necessarily, they might be supportive treatments that we can offer people. Second opinion or expert opinion. This is really important. I send my patients for second and expert opinions. I think this is the responsible thing to do. I think it's important. Thank you, Susan. I think it's really important for people to feel like they have the best minds and the multiple minds of different doctors reviewing a case and understanding a case. If there's something that doesn't make sense, I'm going to bring this up with my colleagues at our clinical our multidisciplinary tumor board on Fridays for us. And then at every different hospital system, it's a different day of the week. And sometimes we'll also bring it to another tumor board, which we're starting to be statewide. So you're going to try and have multiple views of this, and to have a different view. Maybe someone else has seen this before. Maybe there's a study they might know about. Again, I think it's important because the more minds you have looking at something, I think the opportunity to have the best care and the most personalized care possible. And I do not consider this something against myself at all. I really welcome it. And if somebody wants to have that second opinion, I'm happy to refer them to my colleagues. And I will tell them, you know, this colleague maybe thinks very similar to me, but maybe this colleague doesn't. So maybe this is a good colleague for you to talk to and maybe have a different perspective. Or sometimes I'll have a case that's very rare, and Dr. Ueno is an expert on inflammatory breast cancer. And so I'll have them see Dr. Ueno because there are things that really need to have another look. And so I think that that just shows that you're going to have the right type of team who's going to be looking at things and making the right decisions for you. The other thing I wanted to mention also that Susan mentioned was that there are these complementary and integrative therapies. Sometimes people also say alternative, but it's actually a little bit different. So complementary and integrative utilize what we standardly do, but they infuse other things to help. So acupuncture, you had mentioned before, is one of them, exercise, meditation. All of these things can really be helpful for someone during their journey. Alternative treatments is a little bit different. It means instead of doing what kind of we would standardly recommend, we're going to switch gears and try something very different. And I know some questions came in about different alternative treatments. And so usually what we would recommend is to have a more integrative complementary approach where we do the standardized treatments that are available according to our guidelines, but then add on to that other things that don't interact but might support someone through their cancer journey. And so that's also an important part. So I wanted to end right now and just saying thank you so much for being here. I hope to have a lot of questions afterwards and to build some community, and looking forward to seeing you again in July.
Round of applause, please, for Dr. Jamie Fukui. And I think we could take maybe just one or two questions if someone has something really quick. Anybody got a quick question for Dr. Fukui or a comment? Oh, yes, absolutely.
Hearing so much about targeted therapy versus maybe chemotherapy, but does one recommend chemotherapy versus targeted therapy, or does it depend on what type of illness that you have?
You got it. It does depend. So that it depends on the type of cancer and the situation, but often targeted treatments can be very similar to chemotherapy, or they could be together. So targeted treatments usually have to have a target. So sometimes that's a mutation or something that's unique to the tumor that we know the tumor is going to not like. Chemotherapy is kind of more of a blanket term that gets rid of cancer cells because cancer cells grow fast, but it also affects the hair cells and other things. Targeted treatments really try to target just that one thing. So sometimes it can be both. And we have treatments now that can be both chemotherapy and targeted at the same time. So it really depends, but you can ask your doctor too, what type of treatment is this? Is this targeted treatment? Is it really targeting the cancer, or is it kind of generally killing a lot of different kinds of cells? Great question.
Thank you, Dr. Fukui. And just because of the constraints of time, we're running a little bit behind time. We'll pause right there, but I'm sure Dr. Fukui is going to be around for a while afterwards. So if you have further questions, we thank you. Please give a round of applause one more time, please, to Dr. Jamie Fukui. At this time, I'm going to go off script a little bit. I would like to call a few people to join us here at the podium. So can I bring back Dr. Ueno as well as Tani Sablan, Dr. Hideko Yamauchi, Dr. Jamie Fukui, who you just heard from, Dr. Erin Bantam, and Michelle Hashimoto and Corinne Ehara. And folks, what you see before you are some of the members of the planning committee for the cancer care community. I'm going to invite Tani to say a few words.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I told Susan I was going to be emotional, and I am. If there is a time and a place to cry, it is here and it is now. So it's okay. Today is not just a celebration of this very special event, but a chance to recognize someone whose heart and dedication and unwavering spirit have transformed our work and our mission here at the UH Cancer Center. Nearly 2 years ago, when I first stepped into my role, I had the privilege of meeting Susan Hirano, who is now a dear friend of mine, who I love. From that moment, it was clear that she was someone extraordinary. Her passion and commitment to patients and their families are what made today possible. Because of Susan, we are building a community of care, strength, and guidance, a lifeline for those navigating the hardest journey of their lives. And today, it is my profound honor to recognize Susan's immeasurable impact by naming this program the Susan C. Hirano Cancer Care Community. Susan, your legacy of love, advocacy, and compassion will continue to light the way for so many more. Mahalo for all you do. And we made a little award for Susan.
That was a surprise in case you couldn't tell. She didn't know. A round of applause, please, one more time for Susan. And this is her son, by the way. And if you haven't already met Peter, Peter's over here too. And while everyone's doing their lays here, I just have to say a few words about Susan also. I came to this cancer center only last year, April, so soon it'll be a year. And I've had also the privilege of working with Susan a bit. And I just have to tell you what a warrior she has been, because she has been there at the legislature. She has been there as we have been going to the media about this program and other programs. She has been to our live events. And recently we had an event and I said, Susan, you can just rest. Don't worry. And she said, shh. This program is her baby. So I know she's been determined to make sure that it is all it needs to be. So thank you so, so much. We love you so much. Oh my gosh.
I'm flabbergasted at this moment and so appreciative. From the very beginning, you've welcomed me with open arms and love and support, all of you. And I wouldn't be able to do this without any of you. And this is the best committee ever. If you don't know them, they're fabulous people, super intelligent and so fun to be around. And I'm beyond honored, and I'm so glad you all came to share this with me. And I can't even believe my son got out of bed for this. So you guys are good at keeping secrets. I had no clue. So thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Susan. Thank you to the committee.